I'm going to tell you about the 7 secret and amazing benefits of orgasms. In fact, there are actually more than 7, but let's just focus on the 7 benefits you get every time you orgasm. Because orgasms are nature's magical way of doing so many things for us. When you orgasm, you release chemicals and hormones that massively boost your well-being. One of the things orgasms does every time you have them, which is so amazing, is they fight illness. They fight all kinds of illness. In fact, every time you orgasm, you increase your production of NK, natural killer cells that fight all kinds of illnesses. I used to work for the breast cancer charity, and they'd say, we often want to tell women to orgasm because it boosts wellness, it helps recovery, it fights so many illnesses. We can't really tell people that, but you can. And so I often would. So the number 1 secret benefit of orgasms is they absolutely fight illness. They also fight pain. That's the second benefit. If you are in pain, if you have braces or you've got a bone that's setting and something that causes pain and you hate pain medication, if you can have orgasms for quite a while afterwards, you won't feel any pain. Here's the third thing about orgasms that is amazing. They fight aging. Yes, that's true. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Human beings are the only creatures in nature that have sex for pleasure. If you watch any kind of wildlife documentary, you'll see that cats, dogs, lions, they only mate when the female is in heat. If she's not in heat, she's got a litter of cubs, they don't even want to know. That's why lions, sadly, will kill a female's cub so that she goes back into heat and he can mate with her and she can have his offspring, not someone else's. So when we're having sex, our primitive brain is very clear. You are doing this to make a baby. The only reason you are having sex is to make a baby. Now, we have sex in our 50s, 60s, 70s, when clearly we're not trying to make a baby. But our primitive mind doesn't know that. And here's its thinking. You're having a lot of sex. You must be trying to make a baby. And now I need to slow down aging and keep you well and vibrant and healthy because it's not enough to make a baby. You have to be around to raise that baby. So if you're having sex when you're older, it especially slows down aging because the same mind that gives you a wild desire to have sex must also give you the ability to raise the offspring that came from having sex. So I promise you it's true. The more orgasms you have, the more you fight aging, slow down aging, your skin looks better, your eyes sparkle, you have more energy. The 4th reason that orgasms are phenomenal is that they fight depression. You see, every time you have sex, you feel alive. There are people who are not quite dead, and there are people who are absolutely alive. And sex is a magical, bonding, amazing thing. Of course, that should be with someone that means something to you, that cares about you. But even DIY orgasms have the same effect. They too fight aging, fight depression, fight illness, and fight depression. So orgasms have a natural antidepressant effect, whether you're doing it yourself or with a partner. And if you happen to be with a partner that you trust implicitly and you've been with a long time, you don't have to practice safe sex. Actually, absorbing sperm is massively antidepressant because sperm contains prostaglandin that when it's absorbed, fights depression. Some women hate that. Men, of course, absolutely love to hear about that. But it is true. What else is great about orgasms? Well, when you orgasm, you create many, many hormones. The biggest are oxytocin, serotonin, and of course, prostaglandin, because those hormones have both a bonding effect and an antidepressant effect. Oxytocin is called the love hormone. It gets a bit confusing because many people need great sex to feel intimate, especially men, and women need intimacy to enjoy great sex, but that's not always true. It's a bit of a generalization. But what is true is that orgasms increase oxytocin and serotonin, and it makes you feel so good. So here's another magical benefit, secret benefit of orgasms. You sleep better after an orgasm. We all know what I'd have great sex and then have the best night's sleep, or even having sex in the afternoon, taking a little nap, and we wake up thinking, gosh, I feel so good. Orgasms are nature's way of helping you have longer, better sleep. And then what's the seventh one? It reduces stress and anxiety. I'm not really keen on antidepressants or any medication, but I'm very keen on the power of orgasms to make you feel calm and relaxed and soporific and happy. You have at least 7 different benefits you can get from having an orgasm. If you think, I just don't believe you. I was doing an interview last week and the girl interviewed me and said, did my husband tell you to tell me all these things? And I said, no. I laughed and said, yeah, he did, and my husband told me. But it's true. You can Google the benefits orgasms have in store for you. But how about thinking about why? Why would orgasms have all these benefits? Well, look, here's a fact of life. You are here to replace yourself. You may never have a child, and that's your choice. But as far as nature is concerned, you were put on the planet to reproduce, to recreate yourself. And how is nature going to make that happen? How is nature going to make sure that when wars are going on and famine and strife and all kinds of stressful things, that you can still have a powerful need to recreate? Well, orgasms help that. In fact, in certain religious tomes, people are told it is a sin not to satisfy your wife in bed. It isn't because these religious tomes said, hey, women should have orgasms, it's their divine right. It's because religions understood when a woman has an orgasm, her cervix tilts, she sucks up sperm, she is far more likely to get pregnant. So nature is very keen for us to have orgasms because that's the way the human race continues. You know, one of the reasons we love eyeshadow is because when we orgasm, our eyelids flush. And eyeshadow replicates that. Men love high heels because when you wear high heels, your calves bunch up, and your calves bunch up when you orgasm. When a man looks at a woman walking in heels, he's seeing an orgasmic reaction, but he doesn't know that. One of the reasons we love lipstick is because it mirrors our genitalia. So nature's got a whole agenda going on. It wants you to be orgasmic. It wants the human race to continue. It gave you these 7 more actually, but the 7 I'm talking about, 7 secret, special, amazing powers. And I'll tell you them again very quickly. It improves your immune system. It fights illness. It fights aging. It fights depression. It brings about pain relief. It sets off bonding, love hormones. It makes you sleep better. It reduces stress. It even reduces heart attacks. You know, many, many times when I'm with clients, I'll say, I've been married for 10 years. I love my husband, but you know what? The sex, I've got a list here. Make the kids' lunchboxes, walk the dog, clean the house, do the laundry, cook dinner, do the ironing. At the end of the list, there's one more thing, have sex with my husband. Oh, I can't be bothered with that one. I mean, it's not that I don't love him, but it feels like another chore. I just want to go to sleep. And I always tell them the truth. How long do you spend putting on cream? 15 minutes. I clean, I tone, I tap in the oils, I do this stuff, and I put on serum, and then I put on oil, then I put on moisturizer. You know what? How long does that take? 15 minutes? The average man takes 4.5 minutes to have sex, and you have got 4.5 minutes. And if that 4.5 minutes boosted natural killer cells, made you look younger, made you feel happy instead of depressed and anxious, made your skin glow and your eyes sparkle and gave you energy and gave you that bonding love hormone, wouldn't you think, you know what? I got 4.5 minutes. I'm not saying have sex when you don't want to, when you're not in the mood, when you're ill or tired. I'm saying remember the benefits. And many clients go back and say, that was so funny. I listened to you, I went home and I thought, I'm going to have sex. I want those natural killer cells. I'm going to have sex. I want that oxytocin and serotonin. I don't want to take pills. I'm going to orgasm and get those hormones and chemicals. I want the antidepressant, but I want the anti-aging. I could look 10 years younger by orgasms. I'm having that. I want to sleep better without taking drugs. I want to reduce stress. And then I said, but what was so funny is I did it for those reasons, but I really got into it. I liked it. And our relationship is better than ever. We are bonded because we are both having more sex, more frequently, more willingly. We're looking at what's so good about it. It's not a chore. And we have both got all these benefits, at least 7, even more. So I'm not saying have sex when you don't want to, when you don't like the person, when your relationship's going wrong. I'm saying if you love your partner, if you're in a good relationship already, have more sex, not less. Have it for all these magic benefits. You will feel amazing, look amazing, stay healthy, well, live longer, happier, sleep better. Sex is there to be enjoyed, and orgasms change your brain chemistry. They make you happy. They make your relationship really, really special. And if you don't have someone in your life, there is nothing wrong and everything right with doing them yourself, because you're teaching your body how to respond. And that's good too. They're all good. There is no bad orgasm. They're all good. Enjoy them. No guilt. At least 7 benefits. And write to me and let me know how you get on. By the way, if you have a friend who is feeling anxious or stressed or insomniac, maybe you could share this video with them. Share, like, subscribe, and even more. Write to me and let me know what other subject I could talk to you about that would help you. So share, like, subscribe, follow. Hope you loved this. Hope you love the powerful orgasms in store for you. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.